Planner Training Session 2, working with planner files and administration. Okay, so we've just clicked on a .spn file, maybe in the main application to check it out or view it, or a file that somebody sent us separately, and it should then naturally open in the Planner application. That's because it's using file associations to open files with a .spn type in Planner. Now it is possible that that doesn't open, that's because the file association might not be set, in which case you can come to File and use the Open form to browse to your file and open it directly from Planner instead. If that's the case, you can reset the file associations using the Planner installer. So the file is opened in Planner. Often it has these three different tabs showing plans, risks and issues, all of which can be supported by Planner. Sometimes it may be just one of those, and that's so it may just show risks or issues or plan, and that's something controlled here in options by the program view here, and that can be something that's locked. That's part of the locking capability with password control on the configuration of your Planner setup, and we'll talk about where the password is a little bit later. Moving between these is very straightforward. As we move into each of these different tabs, we may see some changes in the menu items here, and we will also see some changes in things switching on and off in the ribbon. So for example, in plans here we don't have charts, so that's greyed out, but if I go and look at risks, see we do have charts available, but it's managed to give us a different set of menu items. So very straightforward to move around between the three if you have all three available to you, and we've talked or we will talk in further sessions about how to work in each of these areas, working on tasks, risks and issues. This session is more about thinking about the setup and management of our Planner file. Once we've started to make changes in here, we may need to save it. In fact, once there's an asterisk showing against it here and the save button here is lit up, then it's telling us we've made some changes from the file as we originally opened it, and we could now choose to save it. That will just simply resave as the same name, or we could choose to do File Save As to give ourselves a different file to the original one that we opened. That's all absolutely normal sort of stuff. Something else useful to have a look at here on the ribbon is the search facility. This works again across all three tabs and allows you to search the key controlling name type field for each item. So in risks this is cause, in issues it's description, and in plan it's the task name, and it's a straightforward name search. So if you looked for initial, it would find this task on find first, and then you could use next to keep finding the subsequent tasks down the plan. So very quick on a big plan, lots of risks, lots of issues, to go and find instances that you're interested in. Now your Planner file has a controlling form which is called the preferences form, and that can be accessed from the plan side by clicking on the project level task if you have it showing the task level 0, or you can find it from within here, File Preferences, and this controls a range of things. Global settings for things like language, so you can change this, and this of course applies to then until you change it back to all instances of opening plans. So this is the interface language that it will use, and it will offer you one of the languages that it has available coded in. If you want to add a language to this yourself, you can, and there's information on how to do that in our knowledge base. You can also set here a global calendar, and this again was stored at the top level with your application, so every project that you open will use this global calendar unless you choose to change it and specify a project level calendar. So it is possible to specify a project level calendar, and that's set up as part of the view within the project plan. But this is, to say, a global one. You can change the working days, show which days are highlighted and which days are not highlighted, and the working number of hours and times of working during the particular working day. You can also change the display formats, the formats that you're going to use for numbers and times within the various parts of the application here as well. And there's some helpful tips here on how to manage that. For example, we find quite a lot that people put month in in lowercase mm, which means minutes, rather than capital MM, which is months, and find they get an odd display sometimes. So important things to look at there. Some general settings here, typical sort of thing about image export sizes and opening last plan when we restart and those sorts of things, showing splash screens, etc. Pretty non-controversial. The main one we really want to talk about though is here in plan preferences. This is a new feature which is about the lock or password. So this planner file doesn't have a password set currently for it, and that means that not only can I change the data, and it's important to distinguish here that changing the data in the plan risks and issues isn't controlled by this password. So whether the password is set or not, I'll be able to add tasks, take tasks away, add risks, take risks away, change the entries in those three standard areas, plan, risk and issue. This password is to control the configuration of the file. So this will lock the tabs that are on display, as we mentioned earlier. It could make it just a risk register without giving the user the ability to switch on plans and issues. It also controls the views, so views that are created in the normal custom user views area will be locked, so the user will not be able to change any of those views or save their own. And also they won't be able to change the lookups which control the risk and issue form in terms of categories of risk and issue and calculation basis. So let's set those and go and have a look. So I'm going to set a simple password here. Okay, so that's now the case, and that means that if I come and look at my views, for example, I won't have the ability to do a save as. So it says the plan is locked, I'm not able to save and create any new views. Okay, so also here when I come to then manage lookups, which say are supposed to control the risk and issue, calculational basis, etc., we can find that they're greyed out. I'm able to select that part of the menu. Now if we want to, if we're the owner of this file and we want to temporarily remove the lock, so perhaps we can save some more views for somebody or change part of the risk and issue setup, we simply need to reopen the preferences and enter the password. When we enter the password, it essentially temporarily unlocks the file. So now it's in the position where I could save some views, I could change the lookups, I can make a change to whether we're displaying plan, risks and issues, etc. And I can do that until I next save the file. When I next save the file, it will automatically relock. Now the way I can switch it off so that it becomes completely open again is once it's in this mode is to remove the password. So we have sort of two levels of unlock. Once you've set the password, you can temporarily release it yourself, but it will automatically relock next time you save it unless you choose to formally remove the password. So if I remove the password like that, we can see it's now waiting and asking for one. So pretty straightforward, and it's there to give the person, the project manager, the PMO if need be, some control over the structure that's used with the plan, the views that are saved and the sort of analysis that's done, and in particular the way risks and issues are calculated. So the last part of this is just to have a quick look at this lookups management. So when we were in the risk area, for example, we can see the categories we have available to us here and the statuses we have available to us, and when we go and click on a risk, we'll be able to see the way in which we can calculate our risk rating. So for example, the value medium for impact has a value of 3, the value probability 70% has a value of 0.7, and that gives us a figure when multiplied together of 0.21, and the figure for proximity medium term is 3, which takes us to 6.3. So simply combining multiplication of these various items together to give us the figure that we're interested in as our risk rating. So it controls the figures that are there. So categories, statuses, figures used for calculations, also response categories, etc. So let's have a look at that. If I come now to my unlocked manage lookups, I can see all those there for issues and risks and also responses. And it's pretty straightforward. We can just come into here and reorder the list, add new items, delete items, etc. And we can also, in some of these areas, so for example statuses, we can store a colour associated with the status, which we can see therefore displaying in the chart here, and these will be taken through and used also in reporting in the commercial applications. Exactly the same sort of thing for probabilities, proximities and impacts. As we said, we associate some numbers with those. So in this particular example here, we have the ability to also flag some opportunities. By making those negative numbers, it will then balance out against the risks. So in particular when we think about values that we're going to start recording for risks and opportunities. Okay, so whilst on the face of it we normally just open our planner file and we get on with putting tasks and percentage completes and risks and issues in, actually behind the scenes there's quite a lot of sophistication here in terms of how we might choose to manage this, and a lot of this is new in the version 3.1 to help the project manager, the PMO, control the consistency of the data that's being entered. Okay, so the next session will be session 3. We're going to start talking about working with tasks in our plan. Thank you.